Welcome back to Bay Area Focus. We are so excited to highlight another amazing film festival. This time, it is the San Francisco Latino Film Festival, which celebrates the Latino arts. And founder and executive director of Cinemas SF, Lucho Ramirez, is sitting down with us now to clue us in on the exciting plans for this festival. Thanks for coming on, Lucho.
Thanks for having me on.
You're like a regular here.
Practically.
You
Practically.
are. Well, we love it. So tell me about this festival this year and what it's all about.
Right. Well, we're into our 9th edition, and the festival celebrates the best of contemporary Latin American and U.S. Latino film. And so we highlight about 60 films this season with shorts, documentaries, and feature-length films. And
when did you get this started? When and why?
There's always been a Latino Film Festival in San Francisco, but we're basically like the 3rd or 4th incarnation with old hands participating and helping shape the festival. But the reason being is that there's a lack of visibility of Latinos in film, period. And so we help fill the gap by bringing in talent both from the U.S. and from Latin America. And it also serves as a platform for Latin American filmmakers.
And as you mentioned, you're in your 9th season. So what is unique about this season?
What's unique about this season is we're working with more spaces this year, both conventional theaters and alternative spaces like the Museum of African Diaspora or cultural centers like East Side Arts Alliance in Oakland. So we try to mix it up between a conventional film festival, which is at theaters, and then alternative spaces. And film-wise, it's very important for us to be inclusive. So we have films that would kind of fall into the Afro-Latino space, or something that is really sort of curated around themes like women in film or music in film. Or this year we have a really fun section called Thrillers and Killers.
Like these horror films?
More like suspense, and more suspenseful with a Latin flair.
It must be really difficult to figure out which ones you're going to include in the festival, and do you have to turn away some?
We turn away a lot.
Oh, gosh.
It's really, really bad. Well, it's great and it's bad. It's great in the sense that there's a lot of films being submitted, which we're happy to say that, you know, we're on the map, so we're getting a lot of submissions. The hard part is paring it down so that we can include as many and screen films at least twice.
You know, in the news, we've been talking a lot about immigration, of course, and DACA and the Dreamers, and these are all things that we've been reading about and hearing about every day. So does the festival include these themes?
Yes, it's a perennial theme. This year, in fact, we had several films that touch on migration or immigration to the U.S. because it's not unique to the United States. So, for example, we have a film called Pachamanca, which is it's about a musical type, a music style from Chile, and basically it's about a band that had to leave Chile to go to Europe during the regime of Pinochet, and so they ended up in Europe, and they ended up staying in Europe. So this is kind of a migration story, but from another country. But there's several, not just from the United States, whether it's Cuba, waiting for a visa to come in, like Last Days in Havana, or the history of the migration problem in the United States, and which is basically, we've had a migration problem since the founding of the country, so to speak.
Sure, sure. So the Latino community, you know, we know that it's very diverse, and you were just talking about films that highlight Chile and some Mexico and things, and that's, do you think that that surprises people when they come to the festival and saying, oh, okay,
I think it's one of those things where it's not a monolithic community. So we end up hearing comments back about, you know, including films from Central America, which we do, and we do have a few of those films, or including stories more with an indigenous bent, which we do as well. And I think that that's been part of our DNA since the very beginning of the festival, where we had even a film from Brazil that was mostly in Japanese, because it was a period piece film when a lot of Japanese emigrated to Brazil. So I think that we try to cover the bases, but we're still a growing festival, and we can only include so many films.
Do some of the filmmakers come to the screenings?
They do. We have about maybe about 20 filmmakers each year come. In the coming days, we'll have about 6 filmmakers, so basically one every day for the next few days.
All right, it sounds like an awesome festival this season. Thanks so much, Lucho. This film festival is already in full swing, so You just want to log on to sflatinofilmfestival.org now to see all the upcoming events. And coming up next, we have a returning guest and some cute special guests who are helping our community. We'll be right back.